What's up, everyone? It's Will and Dean. I'm here with Jeffrey from Only Talk Sports. We're going to be talking some conference championships and then the portal. What the heck's happened to USC? All their players are entering the portal.
Seems like a yearly event at this point.
Well, their starters are like, it's not just their depth; their starters are leaving. So I'm like, what the heck's going to happen to USC next year? Is Lincoln Riley going to get fired?
I mean, his buyout's so big, man. That's the problem. I mean, I don't know if they can fire him. I mean, they probably could, but it would be even bigger of an embarrassment than Jimbo Fisher if they fired him right now. You can't do that.
Well, I think they'll fire him mid-season next year. Is my prediction.
Now we'll see. I mean, did anybody really predict that to happen? Like, were any of us expecting that to happen? I didn't think that he would like potentially be fired this fast. I mean, he still could turn it around. I mean, you never know. You hit on a few portal guys, but it's not looking good.
It's not looking good.
Absolutely not.
And we're talking not transfer portal. Ashton Jeanty in Boise State, they beat UNLV. Ashton Jeanty had that huge run to make it 21-0, and that pretty much put the game away for UNLV. So Boise State, they're going to the playoff. They're going to be the 3 seed. Did this impress you at all for Boise State? Are you underwhelmed? What are your thoughts?
It was an interesting game. I feel like UNLV, they had their moments this season. Obviously, they had the big controversy with Sluka at the beginning of the season that had everybody talking about him, and then Malik Williams became their quarterback, and I mean they had that Syracuse game that they let get away, which Syracuse ended up having a pretty solid season, so not necessarily the worst loss in the world. And they lost to Boise earlier in the season. I mean, not bad. I mean, they're not a bad team. I feel like in this game though that they really just never got into rhythm, and I don't know if that more speaks to like Boise State because of the fact that they played well defensively, or if it's because of the fact like UNLV with Malik Williams was limited offensively. It was kind of hard to tell. I think it might have been a bit of both. Jeanty was amazing as he's been all season. I think he should be the Heisman winner. I mean, Travis Hunter is a dude. He is a elite player, but Jeanty's stats are just dumb. I mean, they're just sick stats. Okay, I don't really understand why it's debated who should win the Heisman. I think it should be Jeanty, but it's probably going to be Travis Hunter. But that beside the point. I think Boise just took care of business. It wasn't a perfect performance, and there were a couple moments where it maybe looked like the game was going to be interesting, but Boise took care of business, and they did what they needed to do to get into the playoff, and even earned himself a bye. So because the ACC fumbled the bag, so that was good for them. Not the best or worst game in the world, but decent overall.
And shout out to Jackson and RC and Scotty for coming in. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we got RC saying Only Tall Sport. What's up? Appreciate that. RC always loves seeing you. Jackson's big buyouts and stop A&M for firing Jimbo Fisher. I know that, Jackson, but I don't know if USC is really going to shell out $88 million.
Well, apparently it's going down to $77 million next season. So
well. That's ridiculous.
That's still ridiculous, yeah.
I mean, A&M and Texas have the oil money. I mean, USC, I mean, LA.
They have the Hollywood money.
I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see. RC's is Only Tall Sports. I'm a Notre Dame fan. You guys are going down. Okay.
Yeah. So RC's Iowa, UCLA, Notre Dame. Those are his 3 teams.
And yeah. See, you can like multiple teams. See. Like, come on. Like, I like multiple teams. Everybody says I'm a bandwagon fan. Everybody loves that term. No, I mean, I'm a Bama fan first, and Indiana, North Carolina, like second and third, and they kind of are, flipped when it comes to the different sports at times. Like I like Indiana football better than Carolina football, but Indiana basketball, Carolina basketball. I mean, I love them both. I mean, it's just, how it is. I don't know. But yeah, RC definitely sporting the multi-team fandom. There we go. And then we got Jim R saying UCF deep pocket.
USC Trojans.
Or UCF rather.
Not UCF. USC.
Yeah, he has to be talking about USC because, I mean, UCF's got money too. He has to be talking about USC. And then Scotty saying not shot Boise won. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty predictable. That they would get it done. But, yeah.
I Army did not. Unfortunately, this did not help Notre Dame's playoff rankings. I was hoping they would maybe take this into effect, but Army winning the American. Good job, Army. In their
Yeah, it was
first
good for
season.
them, and some people were trying to lobby for Army in the playoff, which was funny. Like, you saw it online, like, oh, well, if Indiana's in the playoff, Army should be in the playoff. It's like, okay, Indiana had a better schedule than Army. I mean, I think most people realize Indiana's better than Army. I mean, Army was a great story, but they're not getting in. I mean, it's 5 conference champions. You already had a group of 5 champion in there, right, with Boise. I mean, it just was not feasible for Army to get in. So, I mean, there will be years probably where the 5th highest ranked conference, the teams rank like 24th and they get in. That could happen some years. But in this season, you had Boise ranked high. So, yeah, I mean, Army just no chance. But I mean, good win for them and a good season.
It was interesting because, like, obviously watching the Notre Dame Army game, like, Notre Dame's linemen were bigger. But in this game, it looked like Army's linemen were bigger. I was like, whoa, Army can win. And I'm like, yep, they're going to win because their lines of scrimmage were bigger than Tulane's.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. And that's the difference in football games. I mean, you can't usually win football games if your line's weaker. That's why, despite Michigan, having no quarterback play, they almost beat Indiana. Indiana was better in a lot of areas of the field, but their lines of scrimmage, especially D-line, are still so good. I mean, that gives you that advantage. That's why the Citadel just will never beat Bama unless Bama just
remember that one year they beat South Carolina, though? That was funny.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that was what got Muschamp fired, if I remember.
Yeah, it did. I mean, small teams can win, but it's more of an effort issue for the bigger team because the lines of scrimmage are such a disadvantage for small schools. It's not even fair. So,
and
Tulane kind of collapsed too, by the way.
Yeah,
at the end of the season because they were ranked like 17th at one point, but kind of fell apart. And another team that fell apart. My goodness, Western Kentucky, horrible. I thought this game would be close. I mean, I didn't know. Like, I think we both picked Jacksonville State, but yeah, we did really good on the conference championships. By the way, we picked Boise, we picked Army. You did pick Army, right? Okay, yeah.
I believe so. I could be wrong. But
and we picked Jacksonville State. So we went 3 for 3 on these. I mean, this game was a lot bigger of a blowout than anybody would have expected. And Rich Rod, candidate for the West Virginia job, hasn't gotten it yet. But
probably is going to get it.
Yeah.
Which is good. A good move for Rich Rod in West Virginia. I think it's a good move.
Well, I mean, he did better at West Virginia than Neil Brown and Dana Holgorsen. I mean, the only thing I was concerned with is like his time at West Virginia.
Well, yeah, I mean, the way he left made people mad.
Yeah, him and the AD kind of had a fallout, and he didn't get fired. I mean, I worded it wrong on Twitter.
Rich Rod was the first. They asked Rich Rod to get the Bama job before Saban. Do you know that? So Rich Rod could have said yes to the Bama job, and Saban. Who knows what happened in the SEC after that? That would have been crazy.
Well, Bama wouldn't have been as good as they were.
Yeah, I
can guarantee you that they wouldn't have been winning 6 national championships in the last 15 years. But yeah,
but they had called up Saban afterwards. They're like, "Hey, I know you don't like the NFL," and they're like, "Okay." And he was like, they gave him like the biggest contract ever.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Yeah, and since then the contracts have gotten even bigger. I mean, by far. Like those contracts were a lot smaller, but I mean, yeah, I mean, if I'm Rich Rod, I'm probably taking the job, even though it ended pretty poorly for him the first time around. I mean, I didn't.
I think he had the highest winning percentage of any West Virginia coach.
Yeah, he did good there. I mean, that's why he got the Michigan job. I know Michigan fans can't stand him, but
yeah,
I mean, yeah.
It's just like Rich Rod. He coaches not Bobby Knight, but like he coaches harder than like any other coach. So that'll be interesting to see if it can still.
Nobody's work. Bobby Knight like.
I mean, he's not Bobby Knight, but bro,
like if you were, you'd get fired like instantly.
Yeah. But like, man, he like gets in his players' faces and just gives it to him, man. So
sometimes you got to do that. Like you can't go overboard with it, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do, man. They're not listening. I mean, what do you do? I mean. Like I don't condone, you know, like or you know, like what coaches like physically abusing players. That's wrong, and that should never happen. And when Bob Knight did it, it was wrong. But at the same time, if you're soft on your players, you know, it's just hard to be hard on your players because of the portal error. Players are going to bolt like, oh, I don't like this guy, I'm going to bolt. Well, there's a reason probably he's going off on you. You might want to listen. It might actually help your career, though. Like if you're not doing anything the coaches are telling you to do, you're not going to have a shot at being an NFL player. So it's a catch-22 either way. But I do think Rich Rod will at least elevate West Virginia back to borderline top 25-ish again. And that, for the most part, is what West Virginia fans want, at least. So if you get him there, they'll be fine if he goes there.
Penn State and Oregon. Penn State did slightly better than I thought they would. I thought this would be a bit further apart, but Oregon's speed was just too much.
Yeah, this game, I mean, it was one of those games where like Penn State answered some questions on like, okay, they can have an offense, they can put up points, they can hang with a great team. But also at certain points of the game, you could clearly tell Oregon was way better.
Yeah.
And it felt like Penn State just was kind of making it look good. I mean, it's tough to say, but like, you know what I mean, though? Like you watch some games and it's tit for tat back and forth, right? Like it could go either way, and then one team ends up on top. This game, like Oregon controlled the entire thing. And like Penn State just made it close at the end, which for them ended up being perfect because, you know, they got the 6th spot, which is great this year. And for this 12-team playoff, we don't know if every year it's going to be great, but for this season, it's fantastic. I mean, you've got Penn State playing SMU. You win that game, and then you've got in Arizona State. There's a Boise State. I can't remember.
Boise State. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's perfect for Penn State. I mean, Penn State's going to be favored big in both games. I mean, Boise will be a little bit lower of a spread, but I mean, if Penn State's going to be taken legitimately at all this year, then they have to beat SMU and Boise. You know what I'm saying? Like they're going to be favored in both games. You can't drop either. But yeah, Penn State ended up getting a very favorable spot because they lost this game close. Because if they lose this game by a lot, they're probably lower than Notre Dame. Notre Dame would have been 6th, and Penn State would have been 7th, and Indiana would be playing Penn State. So, yeah, I mean, this result ended up really benefiting Penn State.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, if they blow it in any of their first 2 games, man, people are going to be on Franklin. But for now,
my gosh, I mean, especially SMU. I mean, even Boise would be bad because it's Boise. Like, yeah, they got Genty and they're, you know, Boise. Like, they're the standard for a Group of 5 program. But no, like Penn State should win both. If they don't win, it would, again, just be embarrassing.
We have Georgia beating Texas in overtime.
What I think's so funny, Will, about this is that Georgia fans are so arrogant and cocky about their team and how, you know, just, we're the dogs, man. We come to hunt, whatever, you know, I don't like kind of junk. And I'm just like, dude, you made the playoff by 5 points. You made the playoffs by the exact same amount of points as Indiana did. 5 points. Indiana beat Michigan by 5. If Indiana doesn't win that game, they're not in. People have trashed Indiana. You know, they don't deserve it. It's that Michigan game. If they had lost that game. Well, you know what? Georgia is 5 points away. 5 from not making the playoff. You beat Georgia Tech by 2. You beat Texas by 3. If Georgia loses both those games, they're not in the playoff. They're not. They're not in the playoff at 9-4. And technically, they're 6 points away from being 8-5. I don't want to.
I mean,
I
just don't understand why Texas didn't run the ball more in this game. I know their right tackle was hurt, but like it looks soft from Sark. Like I'm not saying Steve Sarkisian's a soft coach, but man, you got to run it down their throat more than you did.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, it's just irritating. Like I understand Georgia's a darn good team, and we know that they have talent, even though a lot of the guys are, you know, troublemakers off the field. But we know that they're talented. And I'm not saying that they're not one of the 12 best teams in the country. I know that based off talent. But I am saying that this team is not this all-domineering, you know, whatever, like they've been in the years that they've won it all. Like, this team is beatable. And could they win it all? Absolutely, they can win it all. I mean, I think they're one of the 4 or 5 most likely still too out of the 12 teams in the playoff. I would probably say they're, third or fourth most likely, maybe even second most likely. But at the same time, you can't tell me again that they're just this dominant team. 5 points away from being 9-4 and 6 points away from being 8-5. That close. Not great. And yeah, Texas just kind of blew it. And this is just going to keep spinning around for Sark. Like, yeah, you've got talent, you're a good program and all that, but if you can't win these big games, it's just going to become like James Franklin 2.0.
I mean, I feel like our teams are going to have a great chance against Georgia. Whoever wins, I think both of our teams could beat Georgia.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I agree. I think Notre Dame, based on their talent, would have a better chance, but I do think Indiana would have a chance. It's just, what Georgia are you going to get? Problem with Georgia is that they have a focus problem, it seems. Like, they have times where they look good still. Like they are one of those teams. And then they have a lot of times where they don't.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
I mean, I felt like neither team looked that good in this game. I know Mark said it was a national champion. He felt like he watched the national championship, but I didn't think that.
I just feel like it's just because of the names on the jersey. It's Georgia and it's Texas. I get that, but no, I don't think either team played all that great. Honestly, I thought Texas played better, and they still lost. Same like Georgia Tech. I thought Georgia Tech played better, and they still lost. That's the thing with football. The better team or the team that plays better doesn't always win. It just doesn't work that way. I thought Texas played better. I mean, Ewers threw for a whole lot of yards, but the turnovers, man. It's like Scotty V said.
I don't know. I mean, Steven, you look at how teams have been able to run the ball on them, though. Like, I just don't see it. And Beck's going to be out, so they can't. And their quarterback can't throw it any further than Riley Leonard throws it. So I feel like either teams can definitely win.
Georgia Tech almost beat them.
Yeah.
Notre Dame is better than Georgia Tech.
Indiana
probably
Notre Dame blew out Georgia Tech, so yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it just depends on what Georgia you get. I mean, we saw Georgia in the second half against Alabama, and they were fantastic. And in the first half, they were trash. So, I mean, Georgia's just inconsistent. I mean, if they show up to play like they're capable of, then they'll probably beat Notre Dame or Indiana by 10 or 14. But if they don't show up to play, both Indiana or Notre Dame could win.
And then Clemson and SMU, man. If SMU would have just played like they would in the second half, then Bama would be in the playoff. And
that's the thing, man. If SMU had gotten blown out, and
they weren't ready for the talent increase. Like, I felt like the talent that Clemson has, like, it just shocked them. But then they played like they had all year in the second half, and they should have won.
Absolutely. And that stupid prevent defense at the end. I mean, why? I mean, you give up a decent return and then you play prevent defense. You don't play prevent defense. It's like Georgia Tech against Georgia. If you don't play prevent defense and you play the same defense that got you the lead in the first place, or in SMU's case, tied the game, then you'd have won or had a chance to win. You can't play prevent defense. It's just stupid. But the thing with this game, I do agree with your comment about the talent. Advantage for Clemson, shocking SMU. I do agree with that. The thing that irritates me, though, is that SMU looks so bad in the first half. You know, like you didn't really have it yet because a lot of the commentators were like waiting to see if SMU would come back. But yeah, it's just really kind of bogus. Like, I know that Ward, Manuel, the CFP guy and the Michigan AD, has to kind of answer the questions as vaguely as possible so people won't just run away with his words and just go completely crazy on the internet. I get that, but basically, whoever it was, well, it was one of the ESPN hosts that was asking him when they were talking about it, like, was your mind changing on SMU when they were getting blown out? And then when they came back and almost won, and that kept, like, that for you guys kept them in. And basically he was like, well, we took the whole game into no crap. You took the whole game into account, dude. We know that. But the point is if SMU like got destroyed like they were in the first half, there's no way you're putting them in the playoff. That was the question. And the answer to that question from Ward Manuel should have been yes, unless it's not a yes. But there's no way it would have been a yes. If Clemson wins this game 34-7, SMU's not in the college football playoff.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. They are not in the college football playoff. I don't see it. I don't think that they are. Could be wrong, but that's not the way Ward Manuel gave it away. The way he tried to vaguely answer it.
I mean, he was doing his job by saying that.
I know that he was doing his job. Like, I'm not blaming him for doing his job as a spokesperson, as the chair guy. I get that, but we all know what he was alluding to that he wouldn't say, and that's what I'm saying. SMU would not have gotten in the college football playoff if they got blown out in this game. And even the commentators were kind of hinting that. Yeah. But, you know, they came back and they looked really good. But, I mean, the thing is, like, okay, the SMU just lost to a team that wouldn't have been in the playoff if, you know, they didn't win. I mean, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just Alabama did it to themselves, and I'm okay.
I have no sympathy for Bama. I'm sorry.
I don't have any sympathy for Bama at all. The Oklahoma game, trash, just absolute trash. They dug themselves in the hole. If Bama beats Oklahoma, they're in the playoff. No, you know, ifs, ands, or buts. It's no big deal. So they did it to themselves, just like Ole Miss losing to Florida and Ole Miss, you know, having the Kentucky law as well. And South Carolina having the Ole Miss loss. Like, all these teams dug themselves in the hole. The 3 losses, like, I'm fine with it. But the irritating thing is how SMU, like they were trying to spin it off that they would have gotten in anyway when they wouldn't have. And no. It was very close. And obviously, I think if Alabama's playing Penn State, then I think that game's almost a pick'em game. Maybe Penn State's favored by a couple, whereas SMU's almost a 10-point dog. That clearly shows you the difference. It just does. But that's about all I have to say. I mean, Jennings, what a performance. Kudos to Jennings. He made some incredible passes, and honestly, I felt bad for the guy. But what I was going to say was because before this game played, like I was talking to my family and other people, Bama fans. I was talking about this game. They were like, "Is Bama in? Are we good?" And I'm like, "No, we're not good." This game right here, I said, this is the only game that matters. This game. If SMU wins the game, Bama's in. And if SMU gets blown out in this game, Bama's in. The only way Bama doesn't get in is if this game is a close SMU loss.
Yeah.
Happen. If SMU wins this game, Bama's in. Clemson was the bid stealer. It's just same as college basketball. I mean, Bama would have been in the playoff if SMU wins this game, or if they got blown out. The one result, Bama had everything happen for them. Miami lost, Ole Miss lost, A&M lost. All these teams lost. They just needed SMU to win this game or get blown out. But again, I'm fine with Bama not making it. They didn't deserve it. But I just think it's hilarious that everything went Bama's way to get in except this. That's the funny thing, honestly. Yeah. I think it's highly ironic.
Yeah. All right. Take a look at the portal. Oh, let's talk about Belichick to Carolina. Let's talk about that now.
Yeah, I don't know, man. The memes online, though, you got to admit the memes. He should be able to reel the young recruits in. Yeah. Oh my, gosh, you got. He's good at talking to young people. Like, oh my, I can't even, man. The memes are great. They're insane. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with this. Last thing on Alabama. Scotty B said what's funny is that Alabama AD should have realized it wasn't the non-conference schedule problem, it's the conference results. Yes, I am irritated that people keep saying that, it's because Bama didn't have a tough non-conference. It has nothing to do with that. It's because Bama lost to 2 6-6 teams. And one of them by 21. That's why. It has nothing to do with that. If Bama had another tough non-conference game and still went 9-3, I mean, the way the thing played out, Bama wouldn't have got in, probably. I mean, I don't know. It's hilarious. In South Carolina, I mean, they played very well down the stretch, but they're just not a big enough brand, unfortunately. But yeah, the Belichick thing, man. I mean, do you think he takes the job? I mean, do you think it's legit or do you think it's just smoke?
I think he'll take it. I guess.
Is it a good decision for North Carolina though?
No.
I agree. People are like, oh my gosh, Belichick's going to lead him to a title. I'm like, he's old for one. Like the whole point of Mac Brown, like the reason that I'm like, well, they're firing Mac Brown because.
And they're hiring someone that's older than Mac Brown.
Yes, like has that ever happened in the history of college football that a team fires a coach who's 73 to potentially hire someone who's 74? Has that ever happened? Ever?
I can't think of it.
I don't think it has. I mean, like usually when a team fires somebody old or like basically pushes someone out, they end up hiring someone really young. They go in the opposite direction. I mean, age isn't the biggest deal in the world. I mean, like Cignetti being like he's 64 right now. I mean, I don't think it's a big, but with Belichick though, I mean, the issue is that his last few years in the NFL were bad. You know, after Brady was gone, I mean, the team was horrible. You know, they were garbage. And now a lot of people are like, was Belichick even a good coach? I mean, that's impossible. I mean, that'd be like, oh, Mahomes is gone at the Chiefs, and then Andy Reid's last 3 years at the Chiefs stink, and then now people say Reid's no good. I mean, you still got to respect Belichick, man. He won all those titles, but I mean, yeah, without Brady, he looked terrible. And yeah, people are saying the college game is much more like the pro game now with NIL and all this kind of junk, but he's old. You know what I'm saying? He's old. Man, Steven's making me bring this up one more time. If Saban had the exact season of Bama, they would be in. DeBoer doesn't have that clout. Do you agree with that, Will?
No. Sorry,
you don't
Steven.
agree. That's a 50-50 one. I think it's possible, but I mean, Alabama. I don't think if Bama. See, the problem is I don't think Bama loses 24-3 to Oklahoma if Saban's the coach, so it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Like, I know people keep getting sick of people saying that, but do you really think they lose 24-3 to Oklahoma with Saban? There's no way. They're not doing that. They're not losing 24-3. I don't even think they lose the game, but we'll never know. But they're not losing that game 24-3. I've never seen Nick Saban, you know, like have a game where Bama just like completely were trash. Like they had bad games under his tenure, but they never just completely sucked like that Oklahoma game. That entire game.
I mean, the national championship game against Clemson's the closest one.
Yeah, but I still don't think it was even as bad. That Oklahoma game was like awful. But yeah, I mean, again, back to Belichick. Everybody's going to talk about Bama, which is hilarious. I appreciate you guys for being here. It's still a debate. I mean, I still think about it. I mean, SMU, man, they got lucky. But yeah, I mean, Belichick, he's just too old, man. I don't think North Carolina should hire him. I mean, I thought Chadwell was the guy, but Chadwell's last season this year at Liberty, not as good. Salter's leaving. I mean, I don't think it's anything on Chadwell. I still think he's a good coach. But, I mean, would you take Chadwell or Belichick?
Chadwell.
Yeah, I would too. I know maybe Austin would disagree because, I mean, I know Austin, you know, like he does, you know, like say, you know, Belichick's really good. And I'm not saying he's not. I just think that there is a point in your time where you kind of pass your prime. You know, or it's time to go. I mean, like any job people do. I mean, some people do jobs that are so physically strenuous that they have to quit at 50, you know, or 45. And college football coaching is not physical, but it's mental. It's a lot of stuff that you got to deal with. And I mean, he's old, man. I mean, he's got to, you know, he's got his girlfriend, you know, he could just be living life. You know what I'm saying? Like, he could just, like, why take the job? I mean, I don't know if it's like redemption to show people like I can win without Brady. I mean, well, I don't know what it is. I honestly don't even know why.
Well, he's doing it for his son, so his son can be the head coach once he retires. That's the deal.
There you go. I forgot. That is the reason. I saw that.
His son is the defensive coordinator at Washington.
Yeah, he is. I remember that because they showed him like 8 billion times when Indiana played him.
Yeah.
I don't get that though, man. I mean, because then that's like North Carolina's putting, you know, that's like North Carolina's putting themselves in that predicament. Like, if you do hire Belichick, then like you have to like hire the son as the successor. Do you really want to put yourself under that? I don't think you do. It's kind of like, remember when we talked about the Commanders when I thought Bieniemy was going there to get the head coaching job after Rivera. That did not happen.
No.
I don't know. I mean, do you think that Belichick's son would be good as a coach?
Dick's only 85.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, get Lee Corso. Yeah, get Lee Corso.
I don't know. Do you want to let's check a look at the portal?
You don't think I don't know if Belichick's son would be good as coach. Do you think?
I doubt it.
I wouldn't hire him. Honestly, I wouldn't hire him. I'll eat my words if he gets hired and everything goes great. Him and his son, I wouldn't hire him. I wouldn't.
So we got UCLA's top receiver entering the portal, so that sucks for UCLA.
Yeah, it does. I mean, honestly, with how tough UCLA's schedule was, I think Deshaun Foster was actually
good, pretty good.
Quite impressive. I mean, I honestly think so. I mean, after they got completely annihilated by Indiana, like I thought the dude was he was done. Like this guy's getting fired after year one. But like they actually got better. Mm-hmm. They played better. I mean, that Nebraska game, I mean, they looked better. I mean, if they beat USC, did they finish 4-8 or 5-7?
5-7.
Yeah, if they beat USC, they're in. Yeah, the bowl game. Yeah, I mean, yeah, heck of a coaching job. Honestly, I mean, him and Napier, man.
UCLA just doesn't have the NIL money.
Well, I mean, I think that they should. I mean, they're in LA like USC, and I think they're
just not ran as well as USC's is.
They're in the predicament though, like kind of like what Indiana was, where it's basketball, right? UCLA basketball hasn't won a title since the 90s, just like Indiana basketball hasn't won since the 80s. Yeah. You got to commit to football. If you don't, you're gonna get left behind as a program. Indiana is realizing that. That's why like Indiana basketball fans are kind of upset. They're like, are we a football school now? I'm a basketball fan. Well, you know what? Deal with it. You know, like football is where it's at. You want your university to be something, you have to have a good football team. You know? So like Indiana basketball is kind of in a situation where they've been bad for a long time and they've hired horrible coaches outside of Kelvin Sampson, who got fired. You know, and Tom Crean was fine, but you know, like the rest of them were horrible, and like they're just not doing anything, and they're not bringing in the revenue. And even if they were a national championship team, they're not still bringing in the revenue. That's why Kansas went with Lance Leipold, gave him the contract extent. These programs like Kansas and Indiana, they realize you've got to be good at football, man. You have to. So UCLA better pony up the money for football, or they're not going to be in good shape. I know an Indiana player went in the portal today. It was a running back.
Deuce Robinson going in the portal for USC, bro.
Now, did he play or not?
He was one of their best players. Like, he was him and Lemon were the best receivers for USC.
I'll take him in Indiana then.
So apparently what I'm hearing is, I don't know if this is true or not, but apparently a lot of USC players are going to follow Miller Moss.
So, like, if Miller Moss went to Michigan, then they would go to Michigan.
But what I'm hearing is he's probably going to Missouri to replace Brady Cook.
Miller Moss is going to go to Missouri, huh? Well, that would help Drinkwitz. The only thing is, though, I mean, are those USC guys like I don't know anything about USC. You know, with their players
like Burden, Lemon, Lane.
I don't know the culture and all that. Like, I mean, it obviously isn't the best if they're all leaving. But like, are these guys going to be like committed to winning? Like, it's not going to be like
fair. That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
Like for Missouri, you would think on paper this would be great, but like, is it going to hurt their program instead of help? Like you would think it would help with the talent, but I mean, would it hurt? I don't know. You got to be careful with that, or you could end up with Florida State. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, I think Miller Moss is fine, but, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, Scotty's saying maybe the USC players don't want to mess with the crazy Big Ten travel. I highly doubt that that's why they're leaving. I think they're leaving because USC was horrible this past season. I mean, that was probably a big reason. And yeah, culture could be a problem. Something's going on. I mean, because if you got money, which USC does, and you got NIL, and you're still leaving, like you have to really suck. Like something's really wrong.
I mean, I asked Tony about it, and he said like the culture sucked. Like no one was happy.
The funny thing about it is, I love those guys, man. Tony and Tim, great guys, man. But I told Tim, I said, I think when USC joins the Big Ten that they're going to struggle, and he told me, no, we're not. We're going to be great. Well, yeah. I mean, they're not.
Tony's less of a homer than Tim is.
They're not that good. I mean they're actually doing worse than I thought. I told Tim I thought like they joined the Big Ten, they're gonna go like 8-4 every year, 7-5, and they went 6-6. I mean I think they have so much money, man, that they can get their stuff together and win 9-10 games. They can do that, but will they under Riley, or they're gonna have to get someone else? I mean, I know Tim loves USC. I get that, like absolutely homer. I mean, nothing wrong with that, but. He legitimately thought USC was just going to come in and instantly be like Penn State or Michigan's level. Like they're going to be right behind Ohio State or maybe even dominate the Big Ten. And I'm like, I don't think they will. I don't. I mean, this is 1 year. I mean, next year if they get the right players, whatever. But just they've definitely been more of what I thought than what Tim thought so far. Yeah. Well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the future because they're not looking good at all, especially for a program with that much money and history. I do know as well that Oklahoma lost Dasan McCullough today to the portal.
He could go to Notre Dame. His dad coaching. His dad's an assistant.
I wanted to go back to Indiana. Man. He was really good at Indiana. But, yeah, he'll probably go to Notre Dame. I hope he goes to IU again, but probably pipe dream. But, hey, he had his best season in Indiana under Tom Allen. So, be a good pickup for Cignetti. But I would probably bet he goes to Notre Dame. Should have never went to Oklahoma. That was just
that was dumb.
Garbage transfer move. I mean, garbage. All about the money. Indiana was going to pay him, Will, like $250,000. Oklahoma gave him like $400,000. If he stays at IU, he's already in the NFL right now. Guarantee it. Yeah, I mean, sometimes taking the low-hanging fruit, man, is not the move. It's just not the move.
See, we can stop if you know anyone. Oh, Robbie Ashford's back in the portal. No surprise.
Dude, like nobody. He's a group of 5.
Luke Crowenhoek, he's group of 5.
Yeah, I'm trying to look. Like, the some of them have, like, kind of stuck out. But, like, yeah.
Walker Howard, man. What a fall from grace.
Yeah, Walker Howard. And look at that Gilbert guy. That Gilbert dude, man. The 5-star tight end that was at Georgia. And did he even play for Nebraska? He played. Well, did he do anything?
I'm looking it up.
I mean,
37 catches for 300. Oh no, he did not. He had two receptions.
Group of 5.
I vaguely remember him.
Group of 5. Yeah, he played. He did. I don't know what happened. All I know is he had a lot of issues of getting on the field. He had, I don't know. I don't know if I don't think it was academics, but it's something. And then he left. Dude.
Wasn't Walker Howard LSU first, and then he went to Ole Miss, and now he's at Louisiana.
Yes.
No, Gilbert. These guys don't know what they're doing, man.
Eric Gilbert does not know what I knew his career was doomed when he. Oh, I'm playing for Georgia, and then I'm not playing, and then I'm playing, and then I'm not playing, and then I'm leaving to go to Nebraska. Like, I don't know what's going on. I mean, it's just a shame, dude, because, I mean, the dude was highly touted, 5-star, one of the highest-ranked players, and his career's just going to the doghouse. I mean, it's just a joke. Like, I don't know how you can fumble that hard, honestly. I mean, that guy was so highly rated that even if the dude would just get on the field, he'd probably be in the NFL, but he's never on the field. He never plays. And I don't even think he's hurt. He just don't play. I don't get it. He just does not play. I guess he doesn't want to go pro. I don't get it. It's confusing, honestly. I mean, maybe he'll go to, like, Ohio University and just do great, and then he'll still go pro. But, I mean, he's got to get on the field. Man, there are just so many people that like you just have no idea who these people are.
Mm-hmm.
I bet even like most analysts don't know any of these players.
Mm-hmm.
Scotty B says he saw an Air Force guy in the portal, which is rare.
Mm-hmm.
Gavin Wimsett. I saw him. Rutgers guy that
Yeah.
went to Kentucky.
That didn't work out.
Group of 5.
Yeah, group of 5.
So many group of 5s, man. There's only so much room in the power conference, man. There's only so much room. Design dribbling receiver portal.
Jeez, there's a lot of guys.
It's like it reminds me of that meme from SpongeBob where Patrick's like, "Who are you people?"
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know who like any of these people are. I mean, granted, a lot of them are just group of 5 players, and probably a lot of them didn't even play. But I mean, who are these guys?
Jason Murphy, man, he was bad. I mean, he started, but he was not good for USC. I remember him.
Well, group of 5.
Group of 5. Yeah.
Was he 5-star guy out of high school?
3.
Oh, just 3?
Yeah.
I thought that was the portal rankings. I didn't know.
No, it says high school, and then they can go up and down with the portal. Yeah.
Yeah, you're good. It's so small I couldn't tell. Scotty B says all the Baylor guys in the portal are just depth pieces. Well, that's the key. Like if you're
that's what most guys in the portal
if
are.
you're losing just depth pieces, then you can afford to lose them. I mean, you don't want to lose depth, but I mean, if they didn't play, then they're probably never gonna play. I'm seeing some Miami guys.
Apparently, Nitro's going back to Georgia. That's what I heard.
So Nitro was transferring from Georgia. Now he's going back to Georgia.
Yeah.
Well, I saw that Indiana was in the running for him.
Well, he wanted to go to a contender, apparently.
In Georgia, a contender?
So he's going back. Well, he wanted to start.
No, he doesn't start. Okay.
Yeah. Do you want Quentin Joyner? He was doing pretty good for USC, but apparently he was only offered $35,000 to stay, so he wants more money.
$35,000.
Yeah.
I mean, I know things cost a lot more now, Will, but $35,000's not bad.
Chandler Morris, man, we gotta look at Chandler Morris's journey.
Yeah,
remember, this was the guy. This was the guy that got beat out by the TCU quarterback. What was his name?
Duggan.
Yeah, he got beat out by Duggan. Do you remember?
Yeah. I remember Chandler Morris. I mean, how many schools has he been to? Is it just TCU and North Texas, or has he been in
Oklahoma, TCU, North Texas, and then he's going to be somewhere else.
Oklahoma. Okay, I remember him now.
Yeah.
I remember. Oh yeah. So, man, who did he get beat out by? Was it
He got beat out by Rattler at Oklahoma.
Rattler. I was trying to think Rattler before he left for South Carolina. Yeah, Rattler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not that good. No.
Bro, he's my age, man. How are you still in the league at 23? I don't know.
There's some people who are 25.
No, he's 24 now. He's about to be 24. No.
Well, what are you thinking, man? Like
FCS?
I mean, maybe low MAC, like Kent State.
Low MAC, yeah.
Do you recognize any of these people? Look at all the Washington States. My goodness.
Yeah.
Seen some Nebraskas, some Michigans.
I don't recognize.
I know Indiana's only had a couple guys enter the portal.
Yeah, Notre Dame's had a couple.
Yeah, none of them have really been that significant. Indiana lost one running back who could have had potential. Kind of sucks, but I mean, not that big a deal.
A lot of them go to Purdue, which is funny. A lot of Notre Dame guys. Bear Alexander. Oh, Bear. Yeah.
Wasn't he in the portal last year?
He's back in the portal.
And then he went back to USC.
Yeah, now he's back.
I remember that. He was in the portal last year, and then he came back. I remember like the USC guys like, Bear Alexander's back. Let's go. Yeah. And then now he's leaving again. I don't think he's coming back this time.
No, he's not.
Wasn't he at Georgia?
Georgia, USC.
Yeah, I thought he was. I thought
he quit after like 3 years, 3 games at USC. He's like, oh, I'm going to the back of the portal after 3 games.
He's still Power 5, 4 or whatever, probably.
Yeah, probably. We'll see where he goes.
Man, it's just so many players, man. It's just nuts.
Tyler Van Dyke.
Tyler Van Dyke, man. Okay. Group of 5.
Group of 5.
Yeah, there's no way a power college team's taking it, man. There's no way. I mean, unless it's like Purdue or something. I mean, I don't know. But it's no way. I don't think Barry Odom would take him, though.
No. Malik Murphy. Now, there's a name that could.
Why is he leaving Duke after their great season? Supposedly, their great season. They weren't that good, Will. They were not that good.
You'll be Power 5 though.
Yeah, he'll be Power 5, but why is he leaving? They went 9-3.
Probably money.
Oh yeah. Of course. Like, well, I know why, but I mean, just seriously though. I mean, it's supposed to all be about results, right? I mean, it's kind of like I told you about Beamer the other night, right? I was talking about Beamer. It's like all these players keep leaving South Carolina after having good seasons, and you wonder why they fall back to being bad. It's not Beamer's
fault. Do you think he'll
fault.
go to SEC?
Who would? I mean, what programs?
Maybe Big Ten.
In the SEC need a quarterback. I mean, the only ones that would be garbage teams like Auburn or Mississippi State.
Yeah,
probably.
Well,
does he really want to go there? I mean, it would be easier for him to put up good stats.
They'll probably stick with Van Buren at Mississippi State because he was a freshman.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go to the SEC if I was him. I mean, he has it better at Duke. I mean, you can put up stats easier, man, and impress. Scotty's saying the U.
Maybe.
They probably want someone a little bit more high profile, though, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the way the U is. Singleton.
They definitely love the attention.
4-star receiver Georgia Tech's leaving. It's tough. I can't stand when guys transfer for money. I mean, I know why they do it. I mean, you can't blame them for wanting to make more money, but I much prefer it when guys transfer for playing time. You know what I'm saying? Like when guys transfer for money, it's just so irritating. I mean, because like you're doing so great at this school, and then you just leave. You just ditch them. You know, I mean, I get it though. You can't blame the guys for leaving because, I mean, again, get more money, but it just sucks. So many programs lose key players just because of that.
Devin Brown.
A couple days ago.
The future of Ohio State, Devin Brown in the portal.
Yeah, no one legitimately thought Devin Brown had a shot to be the future of Ohio State. I mean,
that's what Zach Smith said.
No way. I mean, I saw that dude come in that bowl game last year against Missouri, and he was
this guy stinks.
He was abysmal. I mean, I know he got hurt in the game, but it's like, and he even came in. I remember, man. I remember when it was Tom Allen's last year. It was last year. And it was the opening game, Ohio State at Indiana. You know, and Indiana was hanging around, and Tom Allen wouldn't even take a shot downfield and try to win the game. He just kept like losing and like, oh, let's run the ball, run the clock out so we can lose respectably, which was hilarious. Like, are you kidding me? But Devin Brown came in and made a couple of plays supposedly, and he looked horrible, absolutely horrible. I mean, yeah, no, not the future of Ohio State. He's like Jack Miller. Does anybody remember that guy?
Don't remember.
Y'all remember Jack Miller, the guy that went to Florida? Oh man, you don't remember.
I don't remember.
You don't remember Jack Miller.
Dude, I don't know who that
Is
is.
anybody? Thank you, letter B. Thank you. He remembers Jack Miller the third. Yes, he was from Arizona. He was at Ohio State. People thought he could be the next guy. And then he transferred to Florida, and he played in the bowl game against Oregon State.
Oh,
And they got murdered.
yeah,
And I
I
don't know what
remember
happened to him
that
after
guy.
that. I guess he was out of eligibility. But yeah, Jack Miller. You remember, man? They got it was ugly, man. It was so ugly. Oh my gosh.
Tulane quarterback transferring Mensa, trying to go to Power 5.
Yeah, you're trying to transfer up on that one.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Indiana with any interest for him. Kendrick Law. Why, dude? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Good player. I mean, he had some moments. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world if Bama can replace him, but, you know, he was definitely a part of the team, you know, had some impact.
Sam Heward, Brock Heward's son.
Wasn't he at
Washington?
wasn't he at like Cal Poly at one time?
Maybe.
Didn't he go to Cal Poly?
Maybe.
I made a video on it like 2 years ago. Did it say? If you don't mind looking, I swear that the guy went to the Cal Poly out of high school or something.
Washington out of high school.
Oh, yeah, Washington and then Cal Poly. Yep, I remember that. Because I made a video like 5-star quarterback goes to Cal Poly. And then Tony commented because he was like, Cal Poly's got a beautiful campus. I remember, like, I was like, dude, that's a nothing team though, man. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I remember that dude. Isaac Wilson.
No surprise. G5.
Dude, Utah's a mess. They are a mess. No idea who these people are. Oh, Giovanni McCoy. Yeah, Oregon State quarterback, group of 5.
Group of 5.
I mean, he basically already is group of 5. I mean, but
Drew Biber, I heard Notre Dame might be looking at him from Purdue.
Did he do well at Purdue?
Apparently, he was a bright spot at Purdue.
I mean, they barely had any. 66-0. More of a rebuild year for Utah or Oklahoma State, says Scotty B.
Well, Oklahoma State's they're getting their quarterback back, so I guess Utah.
Probably.
Michael Jackson, I remember he was at USC and then transferred to Georgia. I don't think.
Why is there so many Georgia to USCs and USC to Georgia? Have you noticed this? Bear Alexander, Georgia, USC. JT Daniels, USC to Georgia. You see what I'm saying? What is that? There's a lot of USC and Georgias. I don't get it. That's weird. TJ Finley. Finley, he didn't play at Western Kentucky, man. Why did he leave Texas State? I mean, that didn't even make any sense. He left Texas State to go to Western Kentucky, and then Texas State ended up getting McLeod. But like, why did he leave? I mean, and he comes. I guess he knew he wouldn't start. He doesn't play, man. That's nuts. That's I don't know. Man, there's so many guys. I've seen a lot of Michigan players. I mean, I'm sure most of them are depth pieces, like they're not actually, like key players. But man, I've seen a ton of Michigan players. Ashton Daniels, the Stanford quarterback,
going to Auburn.
Auburn. I mean,
we'll see.
Ugh.
Tate Rodemaker, he was at Florida State at one point. No.
I will say, I mean, when he was at Florida State, he had a couple good plays.
Mm-hmm.
He had a couple good plays, but he wasn't consistent. So, I mean, I that's probably his biggest weakness. He just isn't consistent. Warner, EJ Warner.
Where was he
Kurt
first?
Warner's kid. He was at Temple, if I recall. Temple. Then he went to Rice, and now he's leaving again.
Yeah.
That guy's a depth QB, I guess, at USC.
Yeah.
Dude, USC
Lynch was a bad kicker. He missed a lot of kicks for them. Micah Bell was at Notre Dame at one point, went to Vandy, and now is back in the portal.
Did he do anything at Vandy? Like, do good, and he's trying to go back
Well,
up?
they said he was like a developmental player.
Okay.
And I guess, I don't know. I guess he didn't do much at Vandy.
Ethan Vasco, the Coastal quarterbacks in the portal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my goodness. Brady Allen, wasn't he at Purdue?
I don't remember, man.
He was. He
was?
was a 4-star quarterback. Indiana tried to get him. It was down to Indiana and Purdue. And he left with Brom to Louisville, and he didn't play. So now he's leaving Brom forever. I remember it, man. It was a big recruitment for Indiana that they didn't get. But obviously he hasn't done anything. So, yeah, I just – it's ironic that some random players I remember, if they have a connection to, like, Bama or Indiana, I'll just remember out of nowhere. Kind of like you do with Notre Dame.
There we are. I think we're back. I think we're back at Jackson Arnold.
Yeah, so we went through them all. I mean, surprisingly, not a lot of names, big ones. Like, they're you know what I'm saying? Like, there's not a lot of big names. There's a lot of players that, like, nobody knows who the heck they are. So
Dave McNamara, yeah.
He's G5, right? I mean,
G5.
I mean, yeah.
Wegman.
Yeah, these are the way back. Purdy.
Where is – I'm trying to find someone.
Surprised McNamara still has eligibility. And it's insane how many of these guys, like, just keep sticking around. Like, there's this one guy, I don't know if you've seen him, Will, but there's this dude for Minnesota basketball named Parker Fox. Who's in his 8th year of eligibility.
There's a guy on VCU that's on his 7th.
He's like 25 or 6, man. I'm like, why is this dude still playing basketball? It just doesn't even make any sense. Is he a Notre Dame player?
No, but you know who he is.
Okay. I mean, I get why these guys want to keep playing. I don't blame them. I mean, you know, once you're done,
free
you're not
education.
But I just don't understand in a way why so many of these guys, you know, are staying 7 and 8 years. It's definitely a long time. Also says Preston Stone entered the portal. Yeah, that's not shocking. I mean, he didn't play.
Yeah.
I can't believe after the great season he had last year that he just got dumped. Like, just benched out of nowhere. I mean, he had a great season. He had like 28 touchdowns, 5 picks. He's fantastic. And then he's just benched.
Here we go. Thomas Castellanos.
Oh.
Florida State. Crystal Ball.
No. Don't do it, buddy. Don't. No. Yeah. I mean.
Crystal Ball to Florida State. What do you think about him to Florida State, man?
If he goes to Florida State, his career is doomed. I mean, it's over. I mean, I know like Malzahn's the OC, but I mean, do you really think that, you know, like they're going to do good? I mean, no. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Florida State's whiplash. They were so good with Travis and then so bad with DJU. I just don't see Castellanos bringing out the Travis energy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just the QB position. Like, they have to fix the whole team.
Mm-hmm.
That whole team needs to be fixed. I wouldn't go there from Castellanos. I don't know where I go, and I'm not going. I mean, it's the money though, man. I mean, he's looking at that NIL. He's like, well, even if we go 3-9, I'm gonna be making way more than. I mean, would you do it? I don't know. I mean, I guess it's worth it if Florida State ends up going 6-6 or 7-5 or better. But I mean, will they? I don't know. I mean, you would think Florida State would try to get somebody that's better. I mean, it's nothing against Castellanos because he had his moments, but I mean, he also kind of had his not moments either. But I mean, maybe Florida State's trying to keep enough money where they can actually build a team. Like, you don't want to spend too much on a quarterback and then you don't have enough for the rest of the team. That could be it too. But if Castellanos isn't good enough, then I mean, even a 6-6 season might do Norvell in. He's got to do way better next year.
He can't do
you can't. I don't think you can go 6-6. Honestly, I think you got to go 8-4. 6-6 just might not do it. Anything under that, he's probably history. But Letter B says, is OSU really going with a true freshman and redshirt freshman as their only QBs? I don't know. There's the portal is definitely going to be an option for all these teams. So I think they'll definitely look at that again, just like Indiana is right now. So it's going to be interesting.
I doubt it'll be St. Clair and Aaron Olin. They'll probably get someone else.
Yeah.
Tavian St. Clair and Aaron Olin.
If we're able to do this show again next week, if we can fit it in, I'm sure that there's going to be a lot more interesting portal guys. There's a few, but I mean, it's going to explode in the next couple weeks. It's going to explode.
Lincoln Keenholz, and they have him still, right? And Sagan, or did he go back in the portal? No, I think they still have Keenholz. And then Bama has Sagan, right? Sagan went to Bama.
Yeah.
So they'll have, so they'll have him as a redshirt sophomore. Keenholz as a redshirt sophomore. They'll have Nolan and St. Clair. So they'll have 3 at least.
Yeah, absolutely. Michigan's going to get a quarterback. Absolutely. It's not even debated. They're going to get a QB. And yes, Austin, your Florida predictions did age pretty well. I mean, I've been saying it all season toward the end, and you've known that I've said it. Like, I even called you out back when they almost beat Georgia. Like, yeah, you might end up, getting an 8-win Florida. I mean, they did pretty good. I mean, Lagway was impressive. Very good. Very, very solid. I mean, if he didn't come in and definitely come back after he got hurt against Georgia, then Napier was done. I mean, Lagway saved his job. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, I still don't know for sure. Like, if you pick Florida to go 8-4, Austin, like as a joke, like you just like a shot in the dark that they would go 8-4, or if you like actually knew that they would. I mean, I made my prediction at 4-8 because I thought that Napier was going to be stubborn and stick with Mertz, and then Mertz got injured, so then he had to go with Lagway. And then Lagway ended up being good, which I did say at the beginning of the season was Florida's only chance to be good. And they did. So it's interesting. It's crazy. But if Graham Mertz doesn't get hurt and he's quarterback all season, they're not going 7-5 at all. So it's crazy. But, I mean, heck of a job by you, man. Like, whether you, like, were actually confident in it or you just made a wild guess, I mean, hey, it turned out to be really accurate. You did a good job on that.
Apparently, NIU is trying to join. Northern Illinois is trying to join the Mountain West. That's what Brad McMurphy says. They might join the Mountain West from the MAC.
These conference names need to go away. The what is it? The Mid-Atlantic Conference? Is that what it's called?
The Middle American Conference.
Middle American Conference. Sorry, my bad. I said the wrong thing. I knew I said it wrong. Sorry. Middle American Conference. The Mountain West, really? I mean, the Mountain West. You're going to add Northern Illinois. Yeah, Mid-American. I know it's the Mid-American. I just brain fart on that one. But yeah, it's just dumb, dude. These conference names are just getting really stupid. The ACC having Pacific Coast teams is dumb. It's just absolutely nuts. I mean, people complain, oh, well, the SEC's got Oklahoma and Texas, and they're not in the same. Dude, that's way more accurate than freaking Stanford and Cal being in the Atlantic Coast Conference. I mean, that just is insane. Honestly, I mean, these conference names are just a joke at this point. They really are. They really are a joke. Northern Illinois and the Mountain West. I mean, the Mid-American Conference, like all these conferences had names for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I respected the Pac-10 when they changed it to the Pac-12 when they added 2 teams. Like, changed their name to be accurate, but the Big 12 and the Big 10 never did. I don't know. It's messed up, man. Well, that's crazy. I mean, do you think Northern Illinois would even compete? I mean,
maybe they get more money.
The MAC is not the Mountain West. The Mountain West is better than the MAC.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're not going to have Kent State in the Mountain West.
No Akron, no Kent State.
Yeah, I mean, like, what do they call that rivalry? Kent State, Akron, isn't it like the wagon wheel?
Something like that. Yeah, I think the wagon wheel. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the wagon wheel. That's what I thought. Kent State and Akron. The wagon wheel. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the bottom of the MAC is horrid. It is horrid. So, it's gonna be interesting on that. I did not see that on Northern Illinois, so we'll see if it works out for them.
Yeah. Well, thanks to everyone for hopping in on our portal and conference championship recap show. It'll be funny to see where these guys go, man. It'll be funny.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and definitely maybe have that show in the works tomorrow. Definitely try to see if we can do that.
Call show tomorrow.
And yeah, Jim Harson, Miami at Cal was the clinch for me craziest. Yeah, it makes no sense. It's gotten really bizarre. Hope not. I hope that the result's not the same. I hope it's better. But we'll see. I mean, only time will tell. And next week, Tuesday night, we'll be back to predict those games. So it's gonna be interesting. I cannot wait for that. You know, this week we just kind of shoot the breeze, talk about the portals, talk about some stuff going on. But definitely appreciate you guys for being here. It's gonna be really interesting to see what happens. And whoever wins, whether it's Notre Dame or Indiana, I just hope it's a good game. Still, if IU wins, but I hope it's a good game. I hope it's a good game.
All right, Jeffrey. Well, thanks everyone for coming.
Thanks for being here, everybody.